Well, hey. Good morning. Welcome to the Blue Gamer Bluecast Morning Show. I'm your host, Adam Blue, 30 plus year video game enthusiast and industry analyst. And today, for April 25th, 2025, I'll run through the latest gaming news, what I've been playing, stuff like that. You know how it is, but it's Friday. That's the good thing, right? For those of us that work Monday through Friday and then have kids that go to school Monday through Friday, Friday's a nice, good, relaxing evening. So I'm looking forward to that. Chris, howdy. Ultronomous, morning. Good to see you guys. Glad to get started here. Yeah, so this week went by pretty quick, and I think I feel like there's not been that much gaming news going on because the Switch 2 pretty much stole the show. Man, my nose is itchy. And I haven't sneezed yet, right? That's the thing I usually do every show. I didn't get my pre-order, which is fine, but also at the same time, I love that Nintendo purposely allocated a lot of consoles here because they knew the demand. And even with that, it sold out. And even with that, considering how many there could be, hearing online so many people say they weren't able to get their pre-order. I feel like that's super exciting. I also feel like that justifies then the price of the Switch 2 unit itself, which I think is very reasonable. Ultronus, I am free from babysitting just in time to do yard work today. Oh, well, that's fun. But you know what? It's good to get outside and get that yard work done, right? I need to do that too. But anyway, other than Switch 2 stuff, let's actually jump into what I've been playing. And it's not too crazy, not much more than usual in terms of right now, Tempest Rising is my main. Like, totally. Look at that. I got 12 hours and 54 minutes into it. I've beaten the first campaign with GDF. I am now on the second campaign. I guess I'm on the fourth levels since it shows 3 here. This game is just so good. I mean, this week, I think I've just been saying nothing but good things about it because it is surprisingly well crafted, well done. The missions are so fun. And in the way they build it too, and I think Altronomus, you might have brought this up the other day. It's just the way the game is made. It's almost like the campaign is like classic Command and Conquer, but done really well, where it's a tutorial as you're going through. So there's like certain times within the campaign, certain missions that. Well, the other thing they did too is they made the missions that are long, but there's usually no timers unless the timer is just like for a side objective or like a tower defense horde mode type thing, or like you're about to get, attacked. Otherwise, like if I have to build up to go send forces to an enemy base, I feel like the game is giving me the time to do it. So there's a lot that this game does mechanically, almost under the hood, that is hard to notice, but it's what makes the game really good, really tight. Can't wait to keep playing it. Like, I am not tired of this game. Usually the only time I stop playing is if I've hit like the 45-minute to hour mark. A lot of times I can't sit that long. And and I'm like, oh, I'm playing. Okay, then I'll just save. Oh, do this. Well, I'll do this little objective real quick, and then I'll save my game, and then I'll just keep playing. Games don't always do that, but when they do. And then I wasn't playing EA Sports FC 25, but my youngest was. And I've learned with the family sharing, the way Xbox or Microsoft, I guess, does their game activity, I guess you would call it login game activity, that the child account or the sub account on that family account, that activity folds into the main account, which is kind of weird, but it's the smallest. Like, in fact, I could actually, because I don't think, that's actually, I could go right here and say, yeah, just hide on profile page. Because what if one day I want to play it or something? I don't know. I don't see myself doing that. It didn't work, did it? Oh, wait, do I do that? Yeah, there we go. All right. And I need to get back to Natsuki Chronicles. That was fun. Okay. Yeah, so real quick with Clear Obscure Expedition 33, again, the last time I played it was when you saw me yesterday. The more I hear people talking about it, the more they really say the combat does feel more free freeform and tactical, like you really have control, and it's very interesting. So, yeah, I might jump back into that. Okay, let me think. Anything else? A little bit of G-Gen Eternal. I think now I'm at that other end of, like, I've gone through all of the Zeta, or the original Zeta, double Zeta, most of Seed, if not all, and then the Wing. And like, again, the game is really fun to play. G-Gen Eternal is really fun to play, but it has too much of the mobile stuff on it to where I'm already getting out of it. So, for instance, they had the Red Gundam thingy. I jumped in for that. That was fun. They're going to have a new Seed story later this month. I'm going to jump into that, and I'm going to have fun. This game is more approachable in that aspect, where if you just want to go in and play. But if you're really wanting to make progress, it's going to take a long time, because either you're going to drop money to upgrade your characters to then be able to move on, or yeah, that's the thing, because in like SDG Generation Genesis, I could just go to some of the levels and grind, but you can't do that here because it's a mobile game and you have the limited things you could do. So yeah, again, that's why it's hard. It's very hard. Okay. We'll move on to some gaming news. Split Fiction movie confirmed with Sydney Sweeney taking a lead role. That's very interesting. Just because she is apparently going to be in the Gundam movie. We haven't heard anything yet since then. And that was the end of March. April, they would have started production. So if they would have started production in April, I'm assuming she's in this mode right now because she's also doing production where she is lining up work. So they just announced this a month after Gundam started production. We don't know the details of how much they've filmed, but most likely then that will be done by the time they go to work on this. And she's producing the Outrun movie, so she understands the IP, the video game. It's very interesting stuff. If you like turn-based RPGs with more control over the characters, I'd recommend Legend of Dragoon, Xenogears, and Legend of Legaia. Okay. I'll have to keep that in mind. Yeah, because slowly these turn-based games are more appealing to me. There's this other one. Actually, we're going to get to it in a news article soon. I'm calling her Gundam Roll an April Fool's joke still. Wow, really? Well, no, it's been confirmed. It was announced before April, April 1st. Yeah, all that stuff has been confirmed. Okay, moving on. Speaking of confirmed, Madden 26 won't be on last gen Xbox One and PlayStation 4. So I don't play Madden, but this is just one of those times in history where we can look at, okay, 2025 was the last, which is a good even number, even though it's not an even number, but 25, the year, is the last to have on Xbox One and PlayStation 4. That seems shorter than what has historically happened with the Madden franchises. I wonder how much that is. Let's get people on next gen. But why would it matter for EA that they don't have a game on PS4? Let's see. Instead, it will be on 5, Xbox Series, PC, and Switch 2. See, there we go. I could say, yeah, okay, if it was targeted PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and S, and yeah, with the Xbox Series S there, but you know what? When porting from PS4 to Xbox is different from Series X to S. So, anyway, what I'm trying to get at is the Nintendo Switch 2 should be on par, or if not more powerful than a PS4. So I would think Madden would be on there. Anyway, just I'm wondering, is this an EA thing? And then why would EA do this? Or is this mandated by Microsoft and Sony? It's like, let's get people off the older consoles. But actually, yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. Okay. Okay. shortly before April 1st. And yeah, I think that's what kind of kills that it's not a April Fool's story. And it hasn't even gone back to the whoever picked up Variety to say it was an April Fool's joke. And I think with these other announcements recently with Outrun, Split Fiction, that's kind of in the lane of what she's trying to take advantage of right now. But we'll see. We'll see. Okay, I might not read this. It has something to do with for Volition Studios to stay in place. I guess there's a bunch of donations of game development materials to the Strong National Museum of Play. I don't know much of the background on that. This seems to be talking about more what's important about it. Let's see. A cohort of Volition have since regrouped to establish co-development studio Shapeshifter Games. The studio is currently working with an unnamed publisher on an upcoming franchise. Okay. All right, interesting. That's not as interesting as I thought, actually. Wait, no. This is Resident Evil 9 teased by Capcom in new RE4 video. Okay, what did they tease? Eagle-eyed fans have spotted a tease for Resident Evil 9 and Capcom's dev team's new video for RE4 Remake. It's spotted by Dust Golem on X. The Capcom dev team for the RE4 blah bitty blah. Wait a minute. I know what you did here. IX? Really? I guess I'm not seeing it. Does it? Okay. Many fans noticed peculiar wooden signs throughout the video, all of which appear to form the Roman numeral 9 when placed horizontally. Oh, so it's not this thing hanging down, it's this down here, and then the X here. I guess. I mean, that doesn't really do much if that's a tease. It's just kind of like, saying, another Resident Evil game's coming. I bet it's the next DMC. Well, you know what? That reminded me, I need to keep playing 5. That was really fun. And I guess it's about time for another one. Okay, what's this? Outrider Mako launches June 23rd. Top-down 2D action game. Let's check this out. I haven't looked at it yet, but it did all the things. It has the pixel 2D, blah, blah, blah. It might not even be my thing, really. Let's do it. Turn that down a bit. Interesting. Oh, there we go. There's the roguelike elements. So is that what that is? I don't know. This is very interesting. I don't know what to think. I'll just put it on my wish list to keep an eye on it. Okay, side-scrolling roguelike action game Skateboard Night to be published by Playism. That's really why I clicked on the headline, because it's called Skateboard Night. That's the interesting stuff we want to see from these games. Okay, so it looks like it has sort of and I hate to say this, a mobile game vibe. Oh, there we go. Roguelike elements. Choose the 2 games in a row where it's like, choose the 3 things you can now use for this run. I tell you, here's my thing, and I wish I actually talked about this yesterday on the Gundam Explained show. It's very interesting when developers will come out with games that have like this sort of, and I don't want to say roguelike is inherently bad, but it seems like if there's nothing unique happening, they're just kind of copying. What I think would be interesting is if IP holders would take advantage of this. To me, it makes more sense, for instance, to have a Gundam Survivor-like than to make up some IP. It's like, okay, that genre exists because of Vampire Survivors, but this is then when you use other IP for that, not like make up an IP. Because this thing with Skateboard Night, there's really no skateboarding. It's more of, let's just call the guy Skateboard Night, and, they're just moving forward on a skateboard. It's not like there's skateboard gameplay. You're not, like, having to use momentum of a skateboard and do tricks or anything, which I was thinking that was going to be part of this. So what would make more sense is you grab an IP that already has some sort of built-in function. I mean, you know, like say something like Transformers. Like, yeah, I feel like recently some Transformer games have come out that are actually pretty cool, but no one kind of cares. And I think you have to then throw them into like a Survivor like. Yeah, I think and when I say this, I don't mean like what Gundam did with Gundam Evolution. When it comes to full 3D competitive games, no. But smaller 2D single player experiences, I think we need to see developers doing this more. And it's funny because that's what kind of Konami just does on the side. They every year when they'll have a release of their older IPs remastered, they have a brand new version of the older games. Last year we got a brand new Castlevania 2D game. We did. It was in that Dominus collection. This year we're getting a brand new Gradius. And so I think these publishers that have these older IPs need to be making games that are scaled to that. Where's the Gundam side-scrolling Metroidvania, the Gundam Survivor, like all this stuff? And in fact, Microsoft could be doing the same with Halo. Where's the Halo roguelike? You know, like I feel like that's what these companies need to be doing with their IPs in between their big prestige titles. Sony, do a God of War beat 'em up, you know, side-scrolling 2D beat 'em up. Do some sort of Horizon thing. I don't know, not Lego though. So I guess that kind of my struggle with when new games come out. If they're just doing what another game does arbitrarily, it's not as interesting for me personally. But if it's an IP that's known and how they're translating that function of the character and the IP into the game mechanics of known genres, to me, that's more interesting. But I don't want to hate on Skateboard Night because that got me to click on this. It's just then when I look at what it is, I'm like, oh, it's that? Okay. But you know what? There is a demo. I'm going to download it. If I'm going to talk bad about it, I'm going to at least download it. Okay. Let me move on real quick. Breath of Fire 4. I want to ask, and maybe Ultronimus, you know about this, and let me look at this actually real quick. It feels like a return of the whole all FPS are gritty brown style. Yeah, where one person created a style and then everyone follows just because of one game's success, even if it's not needed. It's exactly it. And sometimes that works depending on the enthusiasm of the person. If it's more truly because of the gameplay, that will work. But a lot of times it's like, wow, this is a good way to make money. Even if they're genuinely enthusiastic about it, sometimes that approach doesn't work. But yeah, I wanted to bring this up. Breath of Fire 4, now available via GOG. Capcom. I love this. Capcom making sure their games, preserved good old games. Okay, this is cool. I didn't realize. Oh no, I thought it was 3D there, but I guess there's 2D also. I have never played this game, this series. Always heard about it. This is getting a classic 90s. Like, here's some JRPGs that I could be playing. I never have. Is this worth it? Is Breath of Fire 4? And I would say, even if it is, I need to go back to Chrono Trigger and finish that. That's the longest I have played a JRPG. Even though it was only like, an hour and a half or something, and I need to just keep going. Hi, Breath of Fire is a great classic JRPG series. Great, thanks, Ultronimus. That's good to know. So I'm going to keep this in mind, and it's really cool that Capcom has this on good old games, which means there's no DRM or anything. It even has cloud saves. It's great. I was seeing if it had like achievements, which it's not a big deal, but okay. Next, Sony. Okay, this is weird. Sony pulls first-party PS3 games Resistance: Fall of Man and Resistance 2 from PS5 and PS4 as part of big PS Plus clear-out. Why? Couple things, and then maybe I can answer it. It's weird that these games, Resistance and Resistance 2, are just cloud games, so they're not even like games you download or you can own. Okay? I feel like that's weird, but Nintendo does that with their Switch Online expansion pack. There's some older games that you can only play if you have their subscription. Except here, It's cloud only, and they're removing it, which doesn't make sense because you would think Sony wants to make sure their first party titles, what made them stand out, what made them unique, actually is always there front and center. Resistance and Resistance 2 is that. These games were fun, and I remember even at the time they didn't take off. It wasn't huge, but it was fun, and it was the identity of the PS3. And I feel like it almost reminds me of what Warner Brothers did with this Snyderverse. It's like they're just not confident. They're not sticking with it. They're not willing to accept mistakes and push through. They just kind of then give up. But anyway, because Resistance, as I'm saying, like Resistance, Infamous, Killzone, these should be IPs that they are continuing to make, even if it's just a survivor like. They need to keep it top of mind. Let's see. And then, yeah, in August last year, they removed both Horizon games. It doesn't make sense to me. I tell you, like, my PS Plus ran out recently. And then I was like, I'm not gonna get it again. But I kind of want to. You know, I love using on my portal the cloud streaming. It was a lot of fun. And that's how I found out it ran out and I didn't pay for it again. Was I went to go play a game streaming and it was like, you don't have this anymore. I was like, oh, okay. I just think it's odd. I really think it's very important for Sony to really sort of get an idea of what their main core classic library is. Like if you were to ask Nintendo what their main core classic library is, you could say the original Legend of Zelda, Mario's 1 through Super, even up to N64. Like there's so many games that you can then go get Nintendo has available for you. But Sony, there's a lot of their games, and that almost goes back to my sort of personal take on Sony and PlayStation, which I don't think a lot of people necessarily agree with. It's that I remember when PlayStation came out, and I was like, this is awesome, but this is a different direction for games. And I don't think I really fully understood that, but I could just feel it. You know, I remember when that like Extreme game came out. I loved it though on PlayStation, the Extreme Sports game. And then things like that were the stuff that was starting to show up on Genesis and Super Nintendo late generation is what would just then come out on PlayStation because Sony was targeting that mainstream, let's just make a game anyone could play. So then over time, it really makes it hard to go back and look at what are some good PlayStation games other than third-party games. You know, a lot of people think of Metal Gear Solid with PlayStation, but that's Konami. Not only was that Konami, but that was with an auteur. So that's not PlayStation. So I think Sony probably needs to sit down and say, what are games that, like, I think them losing Crash Bandicoot is, and then at the same time, you can say, well, they're doing fine. It's like, well, actually, it seems like they're on the edge this whole time. The way companies work in the US anyway is it's all, bets. So all companies are always on the edge all the time, but even more with Sony to the point where they have to like cancel games. So we're not even getting a full, when it comes to, and I don't know about Microsoft, I think they're fine with money. But when it comes to like Sony, we're not even getting the full representation we could from the PlayStation brand because there's been so many misses that they've had to kind of kneecap themselves and be like, well, we'll just make Lego Horizon for Switch. Like it's like, what? We'll make Lego Horizon for Switch. We'll remove Resistance from PS Plus. And it just doesn't make sense. Let's see. Most of the games I'd consider a Sony game are all games that no longer get made. Do you have any examples? Because I think I know what you're talking about. Are you talking about like Parappa the Rapper or Jumping Flash? Those things that were those classic games and they're not like doing anything with them? Crash. Yeah, I think Crash is like them losing Crash, I think was a mistake. So, yeah, so just real quick, I want to try to do this in a positive way. If Sony sort of hired me to be like, we want to establish kind of what our identity is within the video game space, or people that are even on the outside wanting to get it on the Sony video game, what is that? And we would want to probably go back and, okay, let's find at the core what made Jumping Flash a good idea of a game to make at that time, and how can we leverage that to make a modern one? And then do it with Battle Arena Toshinden. Do it with... they don't have Crash Bandicoot, so they have to come up with, all those old titles, let's make some modernizations of them, and then go from there. Have a larger pool of low cost games that are exclusive to PlayStation that they can work on. And if we look on the flip side, if we look at like Xbox, they've been killing it this year. I mean, Oblivion just got released, and then Clear Obscur on Game Pass, and then Avowed on Game Pass. So I feel like Microsoft gets it. Let's get a bunch of these different types of games out that are not necessarily big budget, huge games, but you know, they have some cool stuff going on. So yeah, okay, yeah, alternatives, Parappa the Rapper, exactly. Legend of Dragoon, okay, Spyro the Dragon, which I don't think they'd have Spyro anymore though. Sly Cooper, Sly Cooper, Jack and Daxter. Those are two great examples where you always hear people like, well, where's the next one? Where's the next one? And it's interesting that like what happened with the Last of Us studio, I don't know why I'm forgetting it. That when they went from Uncharted to The Last of Us and saw that prestige, this is the way gaming goes, then they made God of War. That's what then Sony stuck with. And then Naughty Dog. Yeah, there we go. Naughty Dog is then like, they do have other IPs that then they don't even work on because like, no, we're going to make our next prestige big game. And it's like, okay. Well. Yes, Expedition 33 is on PS5, but I just mean like the Game Pass. Like the fact that I just played Oblivion on Game Pass and then Expedition 33 on Game Pass. It's like, whoa. And then Avowed was on Game Pass. It's like, it's so this Xbox this year, I mean, the Sniper Elite Resistance at the beginning of the year. There's that Strand game, Eternal Strands. So many. Like, and I guess that's kind of what I'm saying too. Like, if I PlayStation Plus versus Xbox Game Pass right now, to me, it's super obvious that one is better than the other. I mean, I a lot of them have the same games too. I don't know. I do like that with PlayStation Plus, you get the cloud streaming on your portal. Although Xbox has cloud streaming anywhere, so it's very interesting. And they're actually Xbox is now doing the new thing where if you own a game, you can cloud stream it. That's yeah, that alone is huge. Okay. Yes, Starless Abyss. Okay, this came out of nowhere. And hey, this is a turn-based, even a deck builder. What's cool about it though is that it's a like let's see. Well, let me explain it. Science and the occult have united forces to brace for the arrival of the Eldritch. But will the efforts against this strange alien race be enough? Play as one of many proximae used to help defend humanity in this turn-based, roguelike, intergalactic deck builder. So there's a lot of interesting things going on. Yeah, sure, roguelike, but also roguelike deck builder. When you have deck builder in there, I think it makes the roguelike make more sense to me. I almost feel like they're kind of the same thing in a way. Or they work, I should say it's more of they work well together. Without even the labels. Also seeing the 2D graphics and seeing the Lovecraftian sort of occult, cosmic horror stuff. This is definitely really cool. And I did download a demo. So actually, I know I don't have too much time left, but let's just see what this is about. Okay, luckily that was quick. Bro, goes back to the whole thing about Sony not really having proper iconic mascots or characters. Yeah. Yeah, roguelike card games, that's literally just a regular card game in the real world. I know, that's kind of what I was getting at. I'm glad you caught that, because, by the way, remember Alien Days tomorrow. Chris, thank you for reminding me. And Ultronymous is a huge Alien fan, too, so, yeah, thanks for reminding me, yeah. LV426. Okay, the music of this is really cool and what it's doing to kind of set the tone. But I kind of want to get into the gameplay real quick and see how it works. Is it like quick? Sure. Oh, it's like a timeline. First Proxima subject volunteered. His military training gives him an edge in running an effective fleet. Can I have it all back, even if it's a dream? Lucid. Repair ships by 1 each. Combat start with 3 dice. See, I don't know what any of this means, but that's what makes this fun. Oh, you're gonna rewatch Alien and Aliens. Okay, I'm gonna do Aliens also. I've been meaning to rewatch that. Yeah, Aliens is probably top 3 of my favorite movies of all time. I remember when I first watched it. And then when it came out on VHS, I remember maybe at the time we only had one VCR in the house. Okay, I don't know. Yeah, we had one VCR in the house, and so we had one of those giant camcorders from the 80s, so I would put the tape in there, and I would watch it through the viewfinder with a mono headphone. Because I wanted to, it was almost like me using my phone to watch something. People would be on the TV watching something, so I would just grab my old school 80s camcorder with the Aliens VHS and watch it. It's no different than today. All right, this is your ship. To get in attacking range of enemies, you must move your ship. Okay, cool. So, move there. We are in range of the horror. Our sensor readings do not make any sense. How can something that large be alive in space? The horrors are not really alive. They are not truly part of our universe. They break common sense by existing. Oh, I love all that stuff. Focus proximal fire at the horror. Okay. So, let's see. Select a card. Okay, so how this works is you select the card that you use. And that's what is... Oh, wow, look at this. Systems are overheating. We cannot fire again. Your shields can offer some protection while your systems cool down. I like how they explain the turn-based by, like, energy. Well, I guess that makes sense. Attack cards sometimes cost heat. Ships must have available heat capacity to play a card. Some cards have an action range, dictating their effects each from the chosen ship. Some cards demand a clear line of sight, while others don't. This displays your current energy. Energy is at the start of your turn. Second indicates that the ship cannot afford the heat cost, as max heat cannot be exceeded. The ship's heat cooldown. Zero heat capacity. Oh, interesting. Okay. Okay, this is your discard. I didn't read that first. This is your discard cards are placed in this pile. If your draw pile is empty, cards are reshuffled into the draw. Okay. All right. Okay, these are horror portals. Next turn, enemies will spawn from them. Plan accordingly. Into our reality. We will need to be able to hold back more of those things. Okay. These are your hit points for this ship. Can replenish in ship stores or through events if hit points reach 0. Ship is destroyed permanently. Shield points, HP, got it. Let's just do some stuff. Okay, here we go. Energy to shields. Yeah, let's do that. Did that do? Oh, it's telling me to play all my defense cards. Okay. Oh, cool. Void Stalker. I like that name. Okay. Oh, you can check the intent of the enemies. Melee attack. So, yeah, no. Oh, whoa. Oh, cool. We got some more ships. Thank you. Let's see. 4, 4, 6. Probably only need 4. Interesting. Destroyable. Oh, that's kind of interesting. Okay, so now it's on fire. Engines need to cool down. Okay, cool. Cool down the engines, but do I get another turn? Can I move? No. Okay, so I guess it's just maybe what I can use for this attack. Wait, what? I guess I did not understand what that was about. Okay. Can I attack? No. No, there we go. So I wonder if I can't necessarily just... okay, so it's not really about... So moving and attacking are a bit separate. That seemed pretty cool. So you see how quick that was? I was thinking, I didn't know how much it would take for me to, like, get going in this game. Okay, you can re-roll. You get rewards. Huh. I'll just do that. And then proceed. So, if this is the structure of the game, I am super down for this, where I can get in quick, strategic, little fun things to do. Okay. And it looks like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Probably stuff I could read. I'll do that later. This is pretty cool. Let's get out of this. I gotta get going anyway. Because I want to look at the store page. All right, so it's called Starless Abyss. Oh, it comes out today in 1 hour. I don't even know how much it's going to cost, but if it's like 10, I'll buy it for sure. Let's see. Yeah, nothing here. Okay, I need to get to work, but that's pretty cool. This is coming out later today. I might check it out. Let's see. Okay, yeah. So, Romulus. Oh, you have all the. So apparently, the sequel to Romulus, apparently has a Predator in it. So this Predator Badlands might be an AVP in a way, or set that up, and then the next Romulus does it, or they're both movies are gonna hint at it and then have a proper AVP, which I hope that's the plan, because that is amazing. It's just crazy that the guy that got to remake Evil Dead is now doing Alien movies. Like, I feel like I would have loved that opportunity. Okay, I'm gonna head out, guys. That was a lot of fun. Have a good weekend. We'll talk later.